Hello and welcome. Whether you're trying to describe a beautiful sunny day or you want to talk about the big global issues, well, having the right words is absolutely everything. Today, we are diving into the essential German vocabulary for talking about our planet, all the way from the weather right outside your window to the environment as a whole.
So, are you ready to finally master how to talk about the rain or, celebrate the sun like you've been speaking German your whole life? Let's get right into it.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking up at the world above us. Then we'll get super practical and learn how to describe today's weather. From there, we'll zoom out and look at our environment. And finally, we'll wrap up with the words you need to take action, things like recycling and saving energy.
First things first, before we can talk about a cloudy day, we really need to know the word for a cloud, right? So this section is all about those foundational words, the absolute basics for the sky and the elements all around us. Okay, the first really crucial word is das Wetter. Let's say that again, das Wetter. Now this is all about the weather on a specific day. What's happening right now? Is it sunny? Is it raining? All of that. That's das Wetter. And its partner word is das Klima. One more time, das Klima. See, this isn't about today. This is the big picture, the pattern of weather over many, many years. So think of it like this. Wetter is today's snapshot, but Klima is the entire photo album. And that distinction is really important. Now for the building blocks. I'll say each one twice, and you should really pay attention to those little words in front. Der, die, or das. They are so important in German. First up, der Himmel, der Himmel. Then we have die Sonne, die Sonne. Der Mond, der Mond. Der Wind, die Wolke, die Wolke. And finally, das Wasser, das Wasser. These are the core nouns that everything else is going to be built on.
Awesome. So now that we have our nouns, let's learn the words to describe what they're actually up to. In this section, we're going to build up our skills so you can give a full weather report.
Let's start with temperature. On the hot side of things, we've got heiß for hot and warm, which, you guessed it, means warm. On the other end, we have kalt for cold and kühl for cool. So from heiß all the way to kalt, you've pretty much got the whole spectrum covered. So how does it feel out there? Is it wet? Is it dry? For that, you're going to want to use nass for wet or maybe feucht if it's just damp or humid. And the opposite, it's nice and easy. Trocken, which means dry. Now, this is what I find so cool about German, how logical it can be. You just take the noun, like die Wolke for cloud, you tweak it a little bit, and boom, you get the adjective, bewolkt for cloudy. It's the same exact thing with der Wind, the wind, which so easily becomes windig for windy. It's a pattern you're going to see over and over again. Of course, sometimes there are bigger things happening with the weather, so here are the nouns for those. We've got der Regen, the rain, der Schnee, the snow, das Gewitter, that's a thunderstorm, and der Nebel for fog. Okay, let's put it all together. Let's make our own little Wetterbericht, or weather report. Imagine we're looking at a map of Germany. We could say, im Norden bewölkt und windig. In the north, cloudy and windy. See, it's that simple. And what about down south? Let's say the weather is a lot nicer there. Im Süden sonnig. In the south, sunny. And hey, notice that word sonnig? It comes directly from die Sonne, the sun. It's another perfect example of that pattern we were just talking about. And you know, no weather report is ever complete without the temperature. Die Temperatur, 15 Grad. The temperature, 15 degrees. That word Grad is what you'll use for degrees. Just a little tip, in Germany, it's pretty much always going to be Celsius. So, we've gone from the sky to the daily forecast. Now, it's time to zoom out a bit and connect all of this to the bigger picture, our planet and our environment. And honestly, this vocabulary is more important now than it has ever been. And probably the most important word in this entire section is die Umwelt. Say it with me, die Umwelt. This means the environment. It covers everything around us, the whole natural world, and importantly, our impact on it. And this slide right here brilliantly shows one of the coolest things about German compound nouns. It's just like building with Legos. You take die Umwelt, the environment, and you add die Verschmutzung, which means pollution. You just click them together and you get die Umweltverschmutzung, environmental pollution. It looks like a long word, but it's completely logical when you break it down. When we talk about the environment, we absolutely have to talk about energy, die Energie. And you can see that same Lego principle at work here too. Die Sonne plus Energie gets us die Sonnenenergie. Der Wind plus Energie is die Windenergie. We've also got the broader term alternative Energien and a really common word in Germany today, der Ökostrom, which just means green or eco-friendly electricity.
Okay, on to our final section. Talking about the environment is one thing, but what about actually doing something about it? This is the vocabulary you're going to need to talk about taking positive action. You know, recycling is a huge deal in Germany, and it all starts with knowing what you're sorting. So, here are some of the basics. Das Altpapier for waste paper, das Glas for glass, das Plastik for plastic, and the Dose for a can. And here are the action words, the verbs for what you do. First, you trennen. You separate your recyclables. Then there's sammeln. They're collected. And finally, the whole goal is to wiederverwerten, to recycle or reuse them. So those are the 3 key verbs for the entire process. Let's just focus on this one crucial phrase that you will hear constantly in Germany. Energiesparen. It's simple. It just means to save energy. And everything from turning off the lights to insulating your home, it all falls under this one idea of Energiesparen. And that's a wrap. Just like that, from the sky to the recycling bin, from das Wetter all the way to Energiesparen, you now have a really solid foundation of vocabulary to talk about the world around you in German. So, we've given you the tools. You've seen how the words connect, how they build on each other. So the only question left is, now that you have all these words, what conversation will you start?